All right, ready to dive into something kind of creepy?
Oh, absolutely. Always up for a good mystery.
Well, today we're looking into The Man from Taured.
Ah, a classic.
You familiar with this one?
Oh, yeah. It's one of those stories that just sticks with you.
Right. Like, it's so bizarre.
It really is. And there's so many different versions floating around.
Exactly. So we're going to try to untangle it all today.
That's like a plan.
So, The Man from Taured, it all starts in 1954.
Post-war Japan. Haneda Airport.
Yeah. Bustling with travelers, totally normal setting.
Which makes what happens next even weirder, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So picture this. You're a customs official.
Going through the routine, stamping passport.
And then this guy walks up, looks totally normal.
Businessman. Well-dressed.
You're Japanese.
Fluently, but with a French accent.
Yeah, a little odd, but not unheard of.
Nope. But then he hands over his passport.
And everything seems legit at first glance.
Stamps from all over.
But the issuing country, Taured,
doesn't exist.
This is where things get strange. The man, Broderick Jonansfer,
insists Taured is a real place.
Even tries to point it out on a map.
But he ends up pointing to Andorra.
Tiny country between France and Spain.
Now, if this was some kind of scam, you'd think he'd back down, right?
Totally. But Jonansfer doesn't. He gets agitated, confused.
Like he genuinely believes what he's saying.
Yeah. It's almost like he's the one who's confused why everyone else is so clueless.
Right. And then it gets even weirder.
Oh, yeah. What else happened?
Well, he pulls out currency.
From a Taured?
Supposedly, yeah. And traveler's checks from a bank no one's ever heard of.
Whoa. Hold on. So he has physical evidence.
Tangible items. It is a whole other layer of mystery.
It's not just a story anymore.
Exactly. It makes you question, what was his game?
Right. Like, was this an incredibly elaborate con?
Or something else going on. Something we can't quite explain.
Obviously, the authorities tried to figure it out.
Of course. They contacted the hotel he claimed to have a reservation.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. No reservation under his name.
What about the company he said he worked for?
Check that, too.
I bet they came up empty.
You guessed it. No record of him anywhere.
So every lead they followed just led to more dead ends.
It just deepened the mystery.
It's like every step they took just made things more confusing.
So what do you do with a guy like that? No ID? A story that's falling apart?
Yeah, what did they do?
Well, with no way to verify anything, they decided to detain him.
Makes sense. Keep him in a hotel room, under guard.
Exactly. Confiscate his documents, investigate further.
Seems like the only logical move, but I have a feeling this is where things take a really wild turn.
Oh, you have no idea.
Okay, now I'm getting chills. Don't tell me he just vanished.
Well, that's pretty much what happened. Guards swore they never left their post.
No way.
No signs of forced entry, nothing. But Jonansfer was gone.
No. Seriously.
And when they went to get his documents from a locked security room,
they were gone too.
Poof. Vanished. Like he was never even there.
I am speechless. Vanished without a trace. That's impossible. It's like he just stepped out of existence, documents and all.
And that's what makes this story one of the most baffling mysteries out there.
I mean, how do you even begin to explain something like that?
Well, that's where the theories come in.
Because there has to be some explanation for all of this. People have been trying to make sense of this story for decades, right?
Absolutely. And there's no shortage of explanations.
So what are some of the theories people have come up with over the years?
Well, some people think he was a spy.
Oh, the classic spy angle.
Yeah. Makes sense, right? Cold War, all that.
Totally. Secret missions, fabricated identities. But wouldn't there be some record of him somewhere if he was a spy?
True, true. And the disappearance. Hard to explain that with just a spy theory.
Yeah, that part's a real head-scratcher. So what else is out there? What other explanations have people come up with?
Well, this is where things get a little out there.
Uh-oh. Out there. How?
Some people believe he stumbled in from a parallel universe.
Whoa, hold on. Parallel universes? Like alternate realities?
Yep. It might sound crazy, but...
A little bit, yeah.
But when you consider everything else about this case...
It kind of makes you wonder.
Right. So imagine this. Every decision you make, every possibility, creates a new universe.
Whoa, okay, slow down. You're losing me a little.
Think of it like a tree with infinite branches.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Each branch represents a different reality. That's the many worlds interpretation.
Many worlds interpretation of what?
Quantum mechanics. It's a theory that suggests there are countless parallel universes existing alongside our own.
So you're saying there could be a universe where I chose a different career?
Maybe you're a rock star in another universe.
Or maybe I'm a brain surgeon.
Could be. Anything is possible.
Okay, so I kind of get the parallel universe concept now, but how does Janansfer fit into all of this?
Well, some think he slipped between these realities.
Like accidentally.
Maybe a quantum event, some kind of cosmic hiccup, shifted him into our dimension.
And in his reality, Taured is a real place.
Exactly. So he's not lying, he's just from somewhere else.
That would explain his confusion.
And the fact that nothing he said checked out.
And even the disappearance, he just shifted back.
That's the theory. Anyway.
Wow. That's a lot to process.
Yeah.
Are there any other examples of these universe slips? Or is Janansfer the only one who's supposed to have done this?
There are a couple of other stories that have fueled similar speculation.
Really? Like what?
There's the case of Lorena Garcia.
Never heard of her.
She woke up one day in what seemed like her life,
Okay.
but with subtle differences.
Like what kinds of difference?
Different clothes, different job.
Oh, wow.
Even her ex-boyfriend was back in her life.
No way.
Yeah, it's a strange one. And then there's Joseph Warren. Back in 1851, he claimed to be from a place called Laxaria.
Laxaria. Never heard of that either.
No one has. And get this, he said the continents were named differently.
You're kidding. So these are real people who just popped up claiming to be from places that don't exist.
That's what they said. Now, whether they were telling the truth?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. We have to be realistic, though. There's no concrete evidence to back up any of these claims.
Yeah, that's true. It's all based on anecdotal accounts.
Right. No official records, no hard proof.
Makes it tough to separate fact from fiction.
Exactly.
But even if it's just a story, it makes you think, right, what if there eyes more to reality than we know?
Oh, absolutely. The possibility is definitely intriguing.
It's kind of unsettling, too, in a way.
I get that.
Yeah,
The unknown can be a little scary.
it is. But we can't just ignore the possibility that Janansfer was, well, just making it all up.
Of course not. We have to consider all angles. And that's why it's important to dig a little deeper into the origins of this story.
Because there might be more to it than meets the eye.
Exactly. And when you start looking into it, you find that one of the earliest mentions of the man from Taured appears in a book from 1981.
Okay.
It's called The Directory of Possibilities. And the author cites an even earlier source, a news article from 1960.
So the story's been around for a while.
It has. And that 1960 article, it mentions a real person named John Allen Zegers.
That name sounds familiar.
He's a bit of a fascinating character.
Was he another mysterious traveler?
In a way. But his story is less about parallel universes and more about creating your own reality.
What do you mean, creating his own reality?
Zegers wanted to travel the world, and he did it by fabricating an entire identity.
Wait, seriously, he just made up a whole persona.
Pretty much. He even invented a country, complete with a capital city, a language, everything.
Wow, that's some serious dedication to the con. Did people buy it?
Amazingly, yes. He traveled all over the Middle East using his fake identity.
What? No way. He actually got away with it.
For a while, he claimed to be an intelligence agent for the Egyptian prime minister.
Oh, wow. So he was living this double life. Talk about bold. But I imagine he got caught eventually.
You're right. His luck ran out when he arrived in Tokyo.
So Tokyo was his downfall.
Seems like it. The authorities there weren't as easily fooled. They arrested him for having a forged passport and fake checks.
Makes sense. So did he finally come clean? Admit it was all a lie?
Nope. Even in court, Zegers stuck to his story, claimed he was a secret agent working with the U.S.
He was committed to his lie, wasn't he?
It seems that way. It's almost as if he'd completely convinced himself that his fabricated reality was real.
Wow. So we have this real guy traveling under a made-up identity from a country that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And this all happened before the man from Taured's story popped up.
It did. It's a pretty interesting connection.
It is. Makes you wonder if Zegers' story somehow inspired the man from Taured legend? Like, maybe some parts of his story got twisted, exaggerated over time?
It's definitely possible. Urban legends often draw from real events,
Yeah, they get embellished, passed around.
and eventually they take on a life of their own.
So maybe the man from Taured wasn't a time traveler or a visitor from another dimension?
Maybe not. But even if he was based on a real con man like Zegers,
This story still raises some big questions, doesn't it?
it does. About identity, the allure of the unknown, the power of belief.
I mean, why would someone go through all that trouble to create a fake identity? Was it just for kicks?
Maybe it was a thirst for adventure.
Or a way to escape a boring life?
Could be. Or maybe a need to reinvent themselves.
To become someone new, someone exciting. It's a fascinating psychological puzzle. It really is. I mean, think about all the work you put into it.
Creating a whole backstory, documents, everything.
That's mind-boggling.
It is. And it makes you wonder what drives people to such extremes.
This deep dive has been a wild ride. We started with a simple mystery and ended up talking about parallel universes and fake
It's
identities.
amazing where these stories can take us, isn't it?
It is. And you know what? I think the most important thing, whether you believe in parallel universes or not,
Yeah.
is that this story makes us question what we think we know
It challenges our assumptions about reality.
and reminds us that there's still so much out there that we don't understand.
Exactly. The world is full of mysteries, and sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that make us think the hardest. It's a story that really gets under your skin.
It does. It makes you wonder if there really are other Tords out there.
Right. Hidden dimensions, alternate realities.
It's a tantalizing thought.
It is.
Yeah.
And even if the man from Taured is just a story,
A legend.
yeah, even if it's just that, it still makes you think about the nature of reality.
Totally. Like, what if our reality isn't the only one?
Exactly. It opens up so many possibilities.
I know, I'll never look at a map the same way again. Every blank space will feel a little different now.
I know what you mean. It's like, what secrets are hidden there? What else is out there that we don't know about?
It's both exciting and kind of scary at the same time.
Oh, definitely. But that's the beauty of stories like this, right? They spark our curiosity.
They make us question everything.
Exactly. And they remind us that the world is full of mysteries,
That there's still so much to discover.
and that even the most unbelievable stories can teach us something.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about. I'm curious. What are your final thoughts on the man from Tord?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway for me, whether you believe in parallel universes or not, is that the story encourages us to keep an open mind.
To not dismiss things just because they sound strange.
Right. To question, to explore, to never stop searching for answers.
Even if those answers lead us down some pretty weird paths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the strangest paths lead to the most interesting discoveries.
So, to everyone listening out there, what do you believe? Was the man from Tord a traveler from another dimension? A master con artist? Or just a figment of someone's imagination? We might never know for sure, but one thing's for certain. His story continues to fascinate and intrigue us, reminding us that the world is a far stranger and more wondrous place than we often realize. And that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an eye out for those cracks in reality. You never know what you might find lurking on the other side.